You go.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Doing
Really?
good.
That's what I'm gonna get, just smiles. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Awesome on this Sunday.
Yes. So we are coming at you at like an extra day. So we were here last week and now we're here again. We just have so many wonderful things that we want to talk about, and I think we've missed each other so much. We're like, why not do it again?
Aw.
Do it again. So how's everybody's week been?
I'm glad for this long weekend, though. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Busy.
I had to
Right.
love
I'm with
it.
you.
Let me do a little thing.
Like a 4-day work week is always a good idea. Always a good idea. It's always a good idea.
Go down to 3. We can make it 2. We can flip the
I'm just
whole
saying
thing.
though, nowadays it seems like a work day is like more like 2 days worth of work. I don't even think the 8-hour work day exists anymore.
It's mentally like for real. Like you get to a certain stage in the day, and it's like, oh, we still got 3 more hours of this thing, huh? Oh, okay.
Don't eat lunch though. Don't eat lunch. You be in trouble.
It ain't over yet. Yeah. I try to keep I try to keep them light because I know after a certain after them calls and them meetings, look, I'm ready. It's gonna be all over my face that I'm ready to go. Okay.
Me too. And I work with people who are long-winded. So like a 30-minute meeting always is an hour, and an hour, let's not even talk about it.
I got another call. I gotta drop off.
Yeah.
That's me.
Look, after a while, I just have to like turn my camera off. I'm like, they're gonna see all of my face. I'm like, what is the point of this?
This could have been an email. I don't understand.
There you go.
This could have been an email. Y'all could have just wrote me an email. That would have been better. Like I don't understand what's going on here, but okay.
I'm not gonna ask. If any of my people watch this, don't send me no more emails because that's long-winded too.
Matter of fact, don't send me no
like the instructions in an IKEA box. It's just long. Oh. Yeah, it's so bad. But anyway, so I'm glad that we're here. Today we have a Black Pearl letter, which is the foundation of our topic. But I had a question because sometimes I'm out the loop. What's the deal with Kiki? Is she with that man? Is she not with that man? What's going on?
I don't think they're together, but I saw a clip of them physically beside each other.
Yeah, for her birthday.
One of her birthday. Yeah, so I was like, okay, well they're at least cordial. So to me, I thought that was a good thing because it seemed like the internet, like the people, causing a problem for them, but they seem to be just fine.
No, he caused a problem for himself. That's what happened.
Well, yeah, I mean that too.
He caused a problem for himself because
like
all he had to do was wait for her to get home and have a conversation. He didn't have to blow her up like that.
I agree with that.
And then everything.
I agree with that.
That's all he had to do.
I did say that.
Yeah, wait for her to get home. Then have
a
conversation. And then everything would have been, you know, nobody would have known, you know what I'm saying? And
well, he didn't know when she was going out that she was going, or it's just
even if he did know, that wasn't the point. The point was you were embarrassed, so you decided to try to embarrass her. And that to me is where the problem always will be. If the communication, listen, if we got a problem, let's wait until we get home and have this conversation. Not everybody on the world got to talk about it because now that we standing next to each other, everybody's looking at you like you boo-boo the fool because you were the same one that blew me up. And now we standing next to each other. See, this is why problems happen. Mm-hmm. Not everything needs to be a public forum. Some things need to be, taken care of at home. Thank God I don't have those type of problems because I'm not famous. And the person I'm with will know, don't try to blow me up. Because the blow up is gonna be way worse.
You don't have to be private for something.
Look,
be famous for somebody to blow you up on Twitter.
Listen, one thing about me, one thing for certain, and two things for sure. I will blow my own self up. Don't worry about. You don't gotta do that.
Yeah, sis.
She's I don't need no one to do it. I'm self-sufficient.
I can do it myself.
I agree that it shouldn't have been public either. Maybe he thought he was gonna get a reaction, but the funny thing about jealousy and it makes you do things that you want to do.
Yeah, and love does too, guys.
Clearly. That's what I say, full of emotions. So yeah, sounds good. So I have a Black Pearl letter, ladies. We haven't had that in a while, so I'll try to read slowly because this one's interesting. All right. All right. Black. Nowadays, all I hear women talk about is self care and focusing on self. I believe all of it is an excuse to be selfish. Women say that they want relationships or want a good man, but get caught up in the hype. Talking about I don't have time to cook or tend to my man because I need me time or I need to take care of myself after a hard day at work. What about the relationship you are in, the promise you made when you got married or your kids? When the experience talked about men not being men anymore, you were right, but it's because women aren't women anymore. It's all bullshit. If you need time in between doing what you signed up for, you shouldn't have signed up for it.
Mm-mm.
Hmm.
All righty. That
Who
was
want to
definitely
start?
Okay,
written by a
then.
man.
Who want to start?
That was
Okay, well, shout
definitely
out to
written
you,
by, that
sir.
was definitely written by a man.
Okay, that's why I said shout out to you, sir. Okay, yeah.
Just like that, shout it out.
Shout out to
But
you, sir.
okay, so
Hmm.
I definitely can tell we don't see his point. Do we see any of his points
Yeah,
about?
I do. But I'll let everybody speak before I speak.
Oh, you do see his points. Okay.
I do see some of his points too,
Yeah.
but
Really?
it's a little
I do.
There.
severe.
No, I want to start there. Can we start there then?
Wait,
No,
see his
no, we're
point?
not. No, we're not.
Oh,
Okay,
how
all
did
right.
you go to 100? Okay, so let's also before we start talking, let's also put out there, sir. Obviously, this is based on the experience of the women that you have interacted with.
Yeah.
Not this is not the how can I say that, the label or the definition for every woman and their self-care journey. And put that out there. All right, pleasure plug. Go ahead. What?
I do like that you use the word journey because everybody's isn't the same. So let's start there. And as a self-love ambassador, I am offended. I'm not because of me personally, because I don't take it personal, but in the work that I do, we strive to make sure that the point is not to love yourself only, it's to love yourself first. And I think the misconception of is that it's a bad thing to pour into yourself. But
Mm-hmm.
I like to change that narrative and help my clients realize that it's best that you invest in yourself first, because who wants to show, like, first of all, how else are we gonna help, I guess, alleviate us having to finalize divorces like the way that we do? So how else are we going to, what I'm saying, if people aren't showing up as themselves, working on themselves, realizing that you do evolve individually, but you also have to evolve together through life, because life changes, and you need to know how to take on those things. And to me, the best way to do that is to know yourself first. And the only way of doing that is going on that self-love journey to figure out, what makes you tweak and what doesn't, because you can't expect someone to love you if you don't love yourself. And then you can't let someone love you if you don't love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I got more, but I'm gonna stop there.
That's good stuff, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you hit a lot of good stuff on the head. So. All right, miscommunication.
So when you said that there was a part in the, I don't know, I don't have the letter in front of me, but there was a part in the letter, if you don't mind going back to it for 1 second.
Absolutely.
And just stating a part about the children and the what happened to the what happened?
Women say they want relationships and want a good man, but get caught up in the hype, talking about I don't have time to cook or tend to my man because I need me time.
So there's okay, you don't have to go no further than that. That's all I wanted to hear. The tend to my man and the children.
Mm-hmm.
So the tend to my man and my children part is like that. I think that's where the letter was. I understand what the letter was all about. When you get to that little part, that little section right there. Tend to my man. What exactly is? I almost want to understand what that meant. Tend to my man.
So yeah, well, it doesn't. That doesn't have to be.
Well, I mean, you don't know who.
But from the little bit he said about cooking, I'm gonna say it's probably the domestic areas of the household he feels that she may not be tending to.
So the reason why she's not tending to these things is because she's taking care of herself.
Correct, because she needs me time. That was what the next sentence.
Oh, so when she comes through the door, and she walks through the door, and she's like had a hard day or whatever the case may be, and she might like go into the bathroom and get herself together, or burn some incense, whatever it is that she needed to do to get herself right, so that maybe after she finished getting herself together, maybe that she will be able to do those things that you want. But that's the point. The point is, if you have a vehicle, right, that car, you need to make sure that you do the oil change and the tune up and all them things there. Otherwise, the car won't run properly.
Correct.
You as a person are very similar to a vehicle at this point. You need to make sure that in order for you to run properly, you have to take care of the apparatus that is you. And I don't even mean like physical. I mean like in general, mental, spiritual, all them things need to be taken care of, because if not, what's going to happen? You're going to break down on the road. That's basically what's going to happen. You're going to break down on the road. So when you say you need to tend and cook the food and carry, sir, please don't do that. I understand what you're saying, but don't do that, because there's Uber Eats and stuff. Don't act like she's out here starving. Don't act like you out here starving because she wants to like literally take care of herself. That's so crazy to me. That's so that whole thing. You gonna lose.
So let me tap into the part, the Eric part of me, because that's what I call it. Okay. That agrees. When we get into a relationship where we have children, we do understand that there's a portion of our time that's going to be needed of us. Correct? Yeah. Right? We have hear me out. Don't chop my head off.
I'm listening.
And so when we make that agreement, I mean, if you really want to break down all those wonderful vows, which I'm not, I'm just saying, right? And then okay. So there should be, once you get in, a knowing to balance yourself out, to tend to self and tend to the extensions of self. I think from what I'm hearing, this is a gentleman who's dealing with females who don't have the balance of, sometimes I pour into myself and sometimes I pour into my household. I should know that when I come home, even if I really don't feel like it, I can't come home every day and go, look, I don't feel like running around with you, Junior. I need to go and soak myself in the tub. There's a part of you that needs to know that. Now, there are other times where you're like, you better go see your daddy because I need to get my nails done or whatever. There is a balance. It just sounds like he is not interacting with people who have a balance of self-care and, just tending to their life. It also sounds like he's dealt with people who use that as a justification not to carry their weight.
I agree with that. No, I like that, because you can meal prep. I mean, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like cooking tonight. Okay, well, bitch, you cooked last night. We got
or he is a man who is just acting like his wife needs to be at his beck and call all the time, and unfortunately, it could be a whole bunch of things.
No, he could be one of those. All right, sit down. I want you barefoot and pregnant for like.
Well, then he shouldn't have seen out to go to work. He should have not been left in the house.
Like, I don't want you to do nothing but be a wife and be a mother. When I get you, because as women, we're naturally nurturing to everyone in our lives, not just our family, to our friends, to our coworkers, to the homeless man on the street. We don't give him $1. So, but you know what I mean? So it's in us. But my thing is, it doesn't negate my love or my care for my family because I decide to pour into myself. And I think that's you're right. That it's called time management. It's called meal prep. It's like there are things you can hire a chef if you're making them coins. If you got that coin, hire a nanny if you need it. You know what I mean? So I think it's ways around those things. To your point, like those are just excuses. And if you are in a relationship where y'all are on the same page in terms of where you see your future, then you're gonna work together to make sure that happens, regardless. There's no gender roles. There's no you sit down and you do this. We're gonna work together as a team, and you see me as a partner just not as a person to bear your children.
But I would think that a man would want his wife to be the best that she could, wife, girlfriend, whatever, to be the best that she could be. And if it means that she needs to take some time to get herself together, then that should be something that because it might not cost you anything to make sure I'm okay.
True.
I mean, that's just the thing. Like, if you
I mean, a year away in Africa either. It just means, hey, I need a spa day, or hey, I need 2 hours to sit in the tub and y'all leave me alone. Let the kids not, like it does. You can find pieces to do self-care. It doesn't have to look the same for everyone,
right?
Yeah, and it looks like however you want it to look like for you.
But I think that's the problem. I think that we throw, and I would love to hit Royal's take off. I think because when she extra quiet, that's the auntie warming up. The auntie warming up.
Lay it on us.
I think the issue is, and I think we've talked about this part a little bit before. We throw the word self-care without true value of what self-care is.
The definition.
Okay?
What is the definition?
And so you have a range of people. You have that first range of people that's like, well, what is self-care? I don't know where to start, right? What does that mean in my life and how can I do it? Because some people have a true challenge. Like, for example, if I go, hey, miscommunication, do this for this person, she'll go running. But if I tell her to do the same for herself, it's a lot of thinking. And do I really have time to do that, right? So some people are real challenged with that self-care. We know it's good, but it's challenging. And then you have others that are like, my whole life ain't gonna be about these kids, or my whole life ain't gonna be about them. I mean, I'm me first, right? And so that's the other extreme. It has to be about them all the time. You have to always be buying them stuff. I need my nails done. I need my hair done. I need my eyelashes done. And all of that is fine. But when it trumps like everything in your life to the point where you neglect it, technically it's not self-care because you're not filling yourself with the positive things that you can fill in other areas of your life. Right. So that's what I'm like. I think right now the definition of self-care is so vague that we neglect or abuse it. And it's just finding that nice middle part for us, not just as women, even though it's us as women, but as people to give to ourselves. That's where I'm at. I'm gonna stop because I know Dr. Royal got something.
Come on, doctor.
No,
Let's go.
no, I don't listen. I'm quiet because I'm listening. Because I thought this was gonna be when I heard the letter, I thought that was interesting. And then before the show, I was in the backstage, and I was listening to Miscommunication and Pleasure's conversation. I was like, okay. Yeah, I heard that whole dialogue y'all had. So no, seriously, where I was coming from is truly where Pearl came from. Like, and she said it perfectly. So I'm not even going to like reiterate or restate or any of that. She nailed it on the head. Like, that's my perspective, that there has to be a balance. And oftentimes some women do practice self-love because, and I heard what you said, Pearl, when you said, in those scenarios, oftentimes you're not able to be poured back into. But I think that these women in these situations are truly pouring back into themselves, but they're self-serving. They're pouring into themselves. And so when it comes to the kids, they might do a little pity pat. Woo, woo, woo. All right, cool.
Picture, click, social media.
And then when it comes to the domestic side of things, or even attending to her man, as he put it, I like that. The whole attending to me is just show me some attention.
Yeah.
Hello, do you hear me, see me?
Yeah.
And then as soon as he opts or happens to come upon a woman who knows how to balance, and he skippity doo-dah across the street to 405 instead of 402, then she's looking like, well, why you ain't coming to 402? Because you were not seeing me. You're not hearing me. You're not feeding me. And I don't mean with nutrition, like food, sustenance.
Yeah.
You're not pouring into me. So that's just where I was coming from. So I was feeling my brother from that perspective.
But
From that perspective.
can we all agree?
We had miscommunication because
can we all agree that an empty cup cannot pour into something else?
Absolutely, but that's not just for women.
I mean in general. If you are on empty, you cannot. I can't give you what I don't have. And if I
understand and receive what I don't know.
But listen,
but there is a fine line between like, you know, self-indulgent and then it becoming selfish. So I do get that part. But there is a limit, like you say, it's got to be balanced. That time management
I don't
has
take care
to be
of myself.
there.
I can't. Listen. I grew up in a time. My mom worked. You know, went to school, all these things like that. And there was times when she would come home and she'd be like, she would literally get like it's still in her work clothes, pulling everything out the fridge, putting it together, all those things there, getting it together, whatever like that. And I remember when she was going to school, there was a time when she would like literally hide from us. Like she would go and she would just like, we had a 4-bedroom house and my mother would go into a room and lock the door and just be in the room. And I, you know, it wasn't when I was younger, I used to think, oh my God, my mom doesn't want to be around us. But when I got older and I had my own, I was like, oh, because she needed that moment to reset and recalibrate so that she could be who she needed to be when she opened the door and said, okay, I'm ready to be, you know, take care of whatever I need to take care of again. Now I understand where like you said, it's this, there's a part where it could be selfish, but I feel as though it's the idea that someone has to understand that an empty vessel cannot pour into something else. So if I'm on E, there's nothing I can do I can't be the best for you. I can't. There's no way in the world I can be the best for you. And what will happen is there'll be some frustration, some resentment, there might be an argument. All these things might happen. And all I needed to do was take 2 seconds to woosah and get myself together. And maybe go out and, you know, go for a walk or have a little bit of wine so that I could do what it is that you need me to do. That's where I'm at in my brain. Like, you know what I'm saying?
So, ask a question. Oh, I'm sorry, Pearl.
No, I was going to ask a question too. Go ahead.
So I hear what you're saying, miscommunication about the vessel being empty. My question is, who makes the determination that your cup is empty? And the reason why I say this is just feel me out on this, y'all. I'll use me, okay? I jokingly, I don't know if my husband is in the house right now, but I jokingly say this all the time, that I'm the absent parent and I do not pay child support. Yes, me and my husband, Facebook, YouTubers, me and my family, as Steve Harvey said too, me and mine is fine. Don't even worry about us, sweetheart.
Mine is fine.
But where I'm coming from is I give a lot. I give of my time a lot to different projects, different people, just different stuff. Like to the extent that sometimes, well, it's not even sometimes, it's a lot. It really is a lot. A lot of times I'm not present for my son.
You mean physically? Physically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not present for my son. I'm not present for myself, which is why I'm trying to get my weight and be more like my sister friend down here, Miss.
Okay.
Okay. But I give to others to the extent that I'm just a giver.
Yeah.
Now, would I say I'm empty? No, because if I was empty, I wouldn't keep giving. I wouldn't have, to your point, I wouldn't have anything to give. But my gift and my skills are within me, and that's what allows me to continue to give. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, when I hear the statement of someone's cup being empty, or the person themselves, their vessel is empty, could someone look at me and say, girl, you empty? Because you giving and giving and giving, but you ain't giving to those that need to be given to. That could be somebody's perspective. But for me, I don't see it that way. Does
Well,
that make sense?
yeah, but I feel as though I feel as though like a thimble is a vessel, so is a bucket, and so is a tub, and so you know what I'm saying. There's so it's all about capacity, right? You could give and 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 never feel like you're on E, and somebody can give 2 seconds and be like, oh, I'm tired. That was a lot.
Yeah.
It's all about capacity at that point, right?
Okay.
So if you don't know, like I know my own capacity. Like I know my tolerance level for certain things. And don't get me wrong, I'm not into self-care as much as I think I have to, I'm going to be because I'm thinking about it more and more. Like, oh, you know what? I do need to do that. But I know me. I think we all know where we, what we need to make sure that we continue to go on. If you're a giver and you just continually give and you ain't got no problem giving until forever, then then you have a high tolerance for that. And there are some people who don't have a high tolerance for that. So if you want to say when do you know, how do we measure empty? The individual has to measure empty. Am I right?
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say too. Yeah, because you gauge that yourself. Because and on the flip side, I've been there where I did feel depleted because I am naturally a giver. That's just what I do. I'm gonna show up for everybody around me, especially my close ones, loved ones, all that. And there was a point where I felt depleted, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? I had to dig deep within myself and figure it out. It's because I'm not pouring enough into myself. That's why I feel depleted, because I constantly show up for everybody else. Ask anybody who knows me. They can call me. They know it. Ain't no doubt about it. So, and the thing was, I didn't feel like I was getting it in return. So I was conflicted. But I realized I had to give it to myself. That was the only way I could continue to function and not resent my family and not resent my friends and not resent my business partners and everybody else around me. So I buy myself flowers because I like to see beautiful things. I take bubble baths because I like to feel good. Or I'll go walk 7 miles because I feel bad and I need to be in the sun. Or I'll go on a hike because I want to be out in nature and I know that resets me. So it still boils down to what you need and what you have to know. There's no other way to know that unless you take that journey.
But did you tell the people in your life that you were burnt out? Like you needed them to pour into you? Because I think that's also another thing. It's like it's okay to ask other people around you or let them know that you're like not, that you need this.
You're not okay. You need a moment.
Like you need like you know what I'm saying?
I wasn't the type to do that, but I realized that it needed to be done. And I started doing it individually, but not as a group. Yeah, but I started to tell my loved ones individually that because I'll pull back if I can't show up to you for you and be my full self. I'm gonna pull back because I want to make sure I can recharge. I'm not gonna show up and do anything half-assed. So it's very important.
No, I was gonna say, Royal.
So listening to you all. And considering the example that I just gave, self-care helps to refuel the emotional aspect or element of you. So in my example, because we're pulling from different resources.
Yeah.
Okay. Because in my example, the resource that I'm depleting, if you will, is my time. But you will not get ever is a situation of me depleting myself emotionally.
Yeah.
So for me, when we talk about self-care, I might be getting a little fluffy in some areas. I'll work on that at some point in my life.
Uh-oh.
Did she freeze for me?
She's frozen. Yeah.
Coming back. It's coming back.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
So what I was
getting
saying,
good.
As far as me working on myself, flexibility, and my sister friend following her example with the yoga and stuff, because I really do need to do that too. Those things will come. But when it comes to self-care from an emotional or mental standpoint, I don't allow myself, this is me, to be depleted in those areas. I will never allow myself to give all of that of me, because
Gotcha.
because I understand how valuable that commodity is, that I can't you'll get a smidge of it. And for that reason, some people think I'm very cold or insensitive or straight up blunt. And I've been called to be, and I can be that too. I don't care. But it's because, like I said, you're gonna get this much. And after I say what I say, I'm done.
Yeah, I hear you.
What I'm saying?
I hear you. I think the thing is determining
What?
what level of self-care you need,
Yeah.
right? So we have a lot of people that are going through the motions of the physical aspect of self-care, like I'm gonna get my feet done, I'm gonna do blah blah blah, but they're not tending to the emotional part
Yeah,
of them
right.
needing to,
That's
right? Okay.
yeah. But
So
is that where we're coming from? Is that
yeah,
where
and I'm just being real with you because I can be physically fine doing, doing all that stuff, but mentally I'm exhausted. There is a part of me on the inside like, let me out, and I'm doing fine physically because I did walk the 3 miles and I did do blah blah blah, and I'm a vegan and whatever other stuff we do to stay physically well. But mentally, emotionally, I'm dying. I'm screaming. I want someone not to just hear me but understand me. There's that. And so we have people who need that help, but they're getting their nails done.
Well, I will respond to that because for me, physical activity is for my mental being. Like I mean, it may not be for everyone else,
Yeah, yeah,
but it
yeah.
helps me emotionally to get fresh air. It helps me mentally to have the sun on my face because I feel more grounded. Again, when I'm in nature, it does more than just I'm not there to look like Halle Berry or Beyonce. Like I'm not there for my body. I'm there for my soul. I'm there for my spirit. And I'm there for my emotions and for my mind. Like I don't what y'all see me standing on my head for 2 minutes ain't got shit to do with me wanting abs. Ain't got nothing to do with that. It's I need my circulatory system to get on board so this carpal tunnel can stop acting up. Like it's a real situation happening. But I
That
mean,
is
no, but
so good
honestly,
to my
like
soul.
getting my nails done and my feet done feels good to my soul. It does because I sit there for an hour and I pamper me. That's once a month. That's something I do for me. So
Yeah.
I'll just say that in my personal perspective, but I get what you're saying in terms of like, girl, that ain't enough. You need to go to therapy. You need to go see a life coach. And
Yeah,
I have,
something.
those are the things I have in place as well. But I think it comes in a full package. But again, I will say as a disclaimer, I have more time on my hands because I do not have a family and I do not have a man. I ain't got all that everybody else got. But still, I do have more time to pour into myself. But again, I still pour into all the kids in my life. I still pour into all my other family. I'm still taking care of at least one of my parents right now financially. So you see what I'm saying? It's not just, oh, well, you ain't got no responsibilities. Mine just look a little different. And I find ways to pour into me because like a lot of people look up to me and not just people who are younger than me. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to find that balance, and you do have to find out what works for you because talking to somebody, and especially a licensed therapist or preferably somebody who can help you work out all those things, and or at least a life coach. Some people don't believe in therapy, which is retarded if you ask me, but anyway, I won't judge. I won't judge. I feel like we all need it, especially if you Black
Clutch
out here,
my
you got enemies,
pearls.
period. Like we need it, and it's okay to talk to people. That's what our problem is. I was talking to miscommunication offline about like that's what our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers taught us to just keep going. And a lot of people come from a family of, oh, we ain't gonna talk about that. No,
Absolutely.
talk
What
about
happens
it.
in this
Deal
house
with
stays in the
it.
house.
Yeah, that trauma comes, it travels generations and it
Absolutely.
stops with me, period.
Absolutely. So what do you guys feel the biggest challenge with self-care is? Because if it was so easy, everyone would do it all the time. So what is the biggest challenge that you find with self-care? I mean, I can start if it gives you time to think. Okay. The biggest challenge for me with self-care is um, identifying that I'm a part of this package of care that's needed. I'm better reactively, like what Pleasure Plug was saying. Taking care of someone else is like taking care of myself, right? It's like a double-edged sword. I have one hand out helping, and then it's kind of helping me too at the same time. I think maybe sometimes being the person who fixes it, it like trumps all the, just naturally just trumps all the other stuff. So the giving that I do, it is a pleasure to give. It is probably also such a pleasure that it's like to a fault. Like being that giving part is to a fault. And so who I am, the giver, sometimes trumps the pause, give to yourself. Does that make sense? So that desire, that passion I have to help others tends to, and it's easier to see it this way than this way. Right. So I am better than what I used to be, but I think that's my thing. There's a passion in me that would rather give to others and can react quicker to giving to others than stopping and pausing and saying, "Hey, Pearl, you need some of that too." So I think it's just easier. It's easy. I'm reactive in that way because I feel like self-care needs to be proactive. And I think helping and fixing is reactive, right? It has to actually break or be in the breaking stage for you to be like, I'm coming. Self-care is more like, it's been 4 months since I took a PTO day from work, right? Or I've been up under these children for like 3 months straight with football and school and homework and making, it just, that's more. Cooking is reactive. Going to the football game is reactive. So yeah, that's what I think the challenge is, just stopping and realizing proactively pouring, giving, being that giver that I love to give, I love to give includes to myself. I think that's the challenge. So anyone else want to tackle the question, the challenge with self-care?
I don't think I have any challenges with self-care though. Like I think that like yesterday I woke up early for no, just so happened to wake up early. And I took a nap and it was glorious. I was like, "Oh, it was one of those naps where you didn't even know you were taking a nap." You know what I mean? Like you close,
You sleep with your eyes open?
Like no, I was like I was watching this. I had Netflix on, watching a program.
She Netflix and
There was,
chill.
there was something happening. There was something happening, and then four or five episodes done passed. I woke up. I was like, "Oh shoot!" But it was one of those. It was one of those things where I needed it. My body said, "No, you need this," and so sometimes I'm forced into self care. It's not something that's like actual. Like my body is at the stage where it's like, "Oh, you don't want to go down? I'm gonna make you go down. I'm gonna sit you down."
That's your age. That's your age, girl.
But that is my age. But I'm also at the age where sometimes I'll say things like, "Oh, I want to take a nap," and then or my son will come in like, "Are you taking a nap?" Because I'm grown. Yes, I'm taking a nap. Yes, because I want to. You know what I'm saying? All the things, but seriously, all the things that you used, like I've seen the memes so many times. All the things that used to be punishments. When we were I need all those things. I need to sleep. I need to eat my vegetables. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go out. I want to sit in my house by myself. I don't want to go out play. All those things are part of, for me, at that point, as self-care. That's myself. That's my self-care. All those things are self-care for me. And I don't really have a problem with it because I've gotten to a stage, like I said, recently, where I'm no longer interested in pleasing other people at the detriment to myself.
Gotcha.
But I had to get there because I used to do that. I used to like literally run myself into the ground. And then it got to a point where I was definitely doing a disservice to myself. Mm-hmm. And I was starting to dislike the people I was doing it for because it was like I was doing too much. Now I'm doing too much for you, and I feel like I'm not, like you said, not in return, but it wasn't being reciprocated.
Yeah.
And I realized the reason why it wasn't being reciprocated, one, because I wasn't asking for it, and two, because that was just who they got used to me being.
Correct.
So when I started pulling back and started taking care of myself, they started to like literally be like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with me? Oh, you're not used to me wanting to take care of myself." Bet. Well, guess what? get used to it because this is what it's gonna be. So I don't, like I said, I no longer have a problem with self-care. If that's the answer.
Well, that's
No longer.
fantastic.
No, I'm not doing it. No longer have a problem with self-care. I love it. It's wonderful. Give me
What
more.
about you, pleasure plug? Yeah. Any challenges with self-care?
To be honest, I still do, even as a self-love ambassador, I still find challenges with self-care. One of them being just when I do need to step away or I need time to kind of just be alone. I have, I'm not gonna say an issue, but I am challenged with communicating that I need time with those around me, so that they won't kind of like feel offended or anything like that. But to me, I'm doing them a service by like not being around them when I don't feel my best. But I find that when I do need to kind of withdraw, it's best to communicate that that's a need for me so that nobody's confused. So I think that's my biggest challenge so far.
I'm gonna echo that because I just thought about that too. Like when I'm in a self-care depletion, or I really need it. I just almost like you know how old school movies used to have those movies with the trap door. I find the trap door in my life kind of go, I'm gone. I'm like
retreat. I'm like, you know what?
I like but see, that's not right either, because then the people around me are like, oh my gosh, she's so sometime, I'm hiding because now my body's like defense mechanism, right? And the alarms are going off inside. And I literally can be sitting just somewhere with a blanket, phone going off. I'm just like,
oh yeah, mine on silent. I don't even hear it. What are you talking about?
I'm done. My kids are like, oh Lord, she went to kill herself in the room. I just thought about that. Like I literally am just like,
I mean, we all have moments.
Gone.
Nobody's perfect. We all have those moments.
What about you, Dr. Royal? Any challenges with self-care?
No, apparently not. So, so I'm just listening and reflecting and just listening to this conversation, which I've told my husband. I need him to do more of self-care.
Yes. Yes, men. Yes.
Yeah, because like I just said, like I'm the absent parent. So like I try to encourage him, babe, you want to go away for the weekend? Like just go somewhere.
Ooh.
Just like that.
Yeah, like seriously, because
yeah, I agree.
Because he's always on duty. Okay. And I so appreciate that. Because a lot of stuff that he does, I really don't want to do. Don't have no desire to do. And if I had to do it, I probably would be depleted, to be honest with you. Jesus, on high.
Somebody come get the doctor. Somebody come get
seriously. So honestly, like just listening, I'm like, no, I don't have any challenges that I can foresee. I've been when you spoke to the PTO, I remember, and even miscommunication when you talked about, when your body just shuts down and you need that sleep. I used to be in that place, and I'm just reflecting. I don't know if I'm just somewhere in the layers of the atmosphere. I know it's gonna sound weird, but I don't know if I'm like in the stratosphere space or whatever, where I'm in between some layers. I don't have no worries, man. Like seriously, I'm
Wait, so did you just arrive at that place? Have you always been like that?
I remember taking a mental health day, every single month. Like my dad, he would be like, at this point in my employment life, he's like, so you got X amount of sick leave days, right? And I'm like, no. I said, Daddy, before I would take a sick leave day every day of the month. Like we get as state employees, we get 1 day a month, right? Every month I am sick. Okay. Yeah, seriously. And I went for years like that. Every month, here's my day.
And tired. Prepare the others. Yup, I ain't gonna be here. Y'all gonna be all right.
But hey, sugar. But I'm sorry, y'all. My husband walked up on me. That was But yeah, but I was like, that was then. So to answer your question, I don't know what happened. I don't know if just life happened, and I was like, I don't give a
Mm-hmm.
because that's where I am now. So I'm like a kuna matata around this itch, round it. Like it's like I have no worries.
Did she just say Akuna
Hakuna Matata, baby. I don't know. But and I love life. I live life. Y'all know because you've met me. All I do is laugh and smile and talk trash. And
Absolutely.
that's all I do. And if you give me
Absolutely.
a drink or something else, we're gonna have a real good time because all I want to do is just be happy. I'm Mary J. Blige up in this piece. I just want to be happy, baby. And that's all I do. And so I'm like, honey, hey baby, I need you to go take some self. We talking about self-care, baby. I want you to take some self-care days.
Are
I'm
you
looking,
really talking to your husband?
I'm looking dead at him.
I was like, is this a dialogue? I was kind of
He's
confused
a
for a
whole
second.
dog. He ain't on the show tonight. You normally he's down here
Yeah.
commenting.
Oh, that, yeah, yeah. So that leads me to my next question. How do we motivate those around us to be self-care ambassadors for themselves? Because that's also a challenge, you know.
It is.
At least in my life, like I'm looking at people that I love and I care for, and I'm like, do this, and no, I'm good, and it's like, no, you're not. Mm-mm. So how do we motivate those around us to be self-care ambassadors
I
for
think some people
themselves?
don't know that they need it, that it's required. Like it might not be a priority, but I feel as though sometimes it's a requirement.
Absolutely.
Like you have to
Yeah.
take care. You have to take care of yourself. Like you have to, like when you don't take care. Like I'm saying, it's like maintaining anything. Like you know what I'm saying. If you have a house and you don't maintain it, it's gonna fall apart. If you have, it's
Absolutely.
like you
Yes.
have to clean up or do whatever it is to, thing. So you have to like literally treat your body, your person as that. You have to treat it so that it takes, you take care of it. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like the idea that with the whole thing with the whole story about it being selfish. I feel as though people who feel as though it is selfish are usually people who are trying to take advantage of you in general. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's selfish for you to take care of yourself. Really? Okay. Yeah, I see you now. Thanks for telling me. Sometimes they're gonna tell you, oh, I think it's selfish that you taking care of yourself. So what would you like me to do? You like me to fall apart? And then you gotta pick me up, and then you're gonna talk about she can't handle it. Well, if you just gave me some time to myself, maybe then we wouldn't have to have these type of incidents, right? So I think that's where it is. So for your people, for people, just do it. It's not, you don't gotta like go on a trip by yourself or run away from your kids and your husband. I'm not saying like, but just take a little bit of time. Just a
Run
little
for it.
bit. Don't just a little bit. So that you don't, so you show up for the people that you care about. Is
So
basically.
you would motivate someone by telling them just take a little bit of time so you could show up for them. That's what you're saying.
Just so that you can be a better individual. Sometimes in order for you to be a better individual, you have to take care of self, so that the team does not. So that the team, if we all take a little bit of time for ourselves, the team will be better.
Absolutely, absolutely. What about you, Pleasure Plug? If you had to motivate someone
Um,
or help
so
someone,
I like to help people, and I say that because you can only motivate yourself. Like nobody can
yeah,
motivate you to do anything because it has to be in you. Especially something like self love. That's very personal, and it's something you have to choose that you want to do. And again, it also looks different for everyone. It's not the same. It could just be, oh well, I'm sleeping in today, and or fuck them kids, or it could
Right.
be or I'm a meal prep this week, so because I don't feel like cooking. It depends, and it looks different on everybody. So my thing is, you can't motivate people to do something that they're not already motivated to do. Self-love has to come from your core. It has to be a continuous journey of self-development. It's way more than physical. It's mental, spiritual, emotional. You have to make sure that you're okay. You are plugged into whatever higher power there is you believe in, so that you can stay grounded and be your full self and show up for your family and for your friends and give of yourself in all these other ways that we do. So yeah, it got to come from you. I don't believe I can motivate anybody, but except for just continue to be myself and let my light shine, and just so that they can see you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to look like this or do that. But as long as you keep going, that's my main thing. Like, just see me continuing to keep going. It might not, the journey ain't perfect. I fall on my head a million times, but I'm going to keep getting up there because it makes me feel good.
So setting the example. That's a
setting the example.
Set the example.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What about you, Royal?
Like I said,
How would you?
I like you guys just saw. Like, I'm just gonna tell you. If
I'm just gonna tell you.
I'm just gonna tell you. Because if I see that you are not well, from a well-being standpoint, mentally, or otherwise, I'm gonna tell you, baby, this is
Baby.
not good. You know,
I love when she said that. It's just not
Yeah.
it's not. It's really not good. And so I verbally will literally directly tell you, I really think you need a vacation. You need a vacation, a self-cation, whatever. Just so that, yes, so that you can reset. And if it's a health situation, because pleasure, you spoke to this. When we think about people and stress,
Mm-hmm.
and its impact on us, from a health standpoint, you got to make sure that you take your medication. If you're on some type of medication regimen, that's part of self-care and self-love.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
If you, because of the stress, women, we start building up that cortisol, and we start
I
spreading.
tell the people at the job that said, "Don't be stressing. You're gonna make your stomach big."
You're gonna make your stomach big. Yeah, for
It's real.
It is real, and the back rolls too. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is, if and that's not me being judgmental or critical. Y'all stop laughing at me. It's
No,
because
it's the truth. Your body holds
your
trauma.
body
I
holds
didn't say it wasn't. It's just the way it came.
It came out funny, but you
That
know she
back
always
row
funny.
too.
rolls too. Yeah, like you gotta take care of you, and before you only I tell people all the time, you only have one life. You only have one you.
Yes.
And if you don't love yourself enough to love yourself, then I'm gonna see you on the other side when I see you.
Yeah.
And
I
and,
mean,
and that's just and that's just reality, and that's just being real. And sometimes, again, I know that I sometimes come across very blunt, but sometimes blunt has to be, because other
well,
people probably
truth is truth, right?
yeah,
Truth is
because
truth.
people have probably already tried to massage you and to get you to take care of yourself. So yeah, so just appreciate the one life that you live while you have it, and live it to its fullest.
Yeah. I think it's we're not even living the fullest that we can live because so many of us are pouring from an empty vessel. What you think you're giving, you're not giving, because if you have not yet planted that seed in yourself, what is coming to fruition for you to give to me? Nothing. So,
Nada.
and this is why certain things are fragile, like love, egos, relationship, because it's just there's no roots. You have not taken the root of love and rooted it in yourself. You
That's
have
it.
not taken the root of self-care, of self-preservation, of self-value, and rooted in yourself. So everything else you're given is half-ass. So it is what it
That
is.
part, that half-ass part. That's the main
The
that's
whole
the real
circle.
part, man.
So as we wrap up, because I can't believe it's almost an hour already. Good gracious me. What is our feedback or um, response to this person who is saying, look, y'all tripping. This is just new age selfishness. Y'all taking selfishness and putting a new word on it so it sounds good. What is your feedback to that person? I will start off with miscommunication on this.
Why you got stuck? Because me, you already know
No,
how I feel.
okay, Royal, what's your part?
You already know how you already know. Listen, we already know how I feel about that. I feel as though don't gaslight me into thinking that taking care of myself is a problem. It can be problematic if I'm not taking care of my responsibilities, but you will never make me feel bad for taking care of me. because me, without me, I can't give you anything.
Yes.
I'm not right. If I'm not right, I can't give you anything correctly.
Right.
I can't love you correctly. I can't hold the kids down correctly. I can do nothing correctly. And not for nothing other for not. If I take care of myself, you won't have to pick me up. That's the point. If you let me take care of myself, I'll be able to give you the best, the best Lynn that I have, and and I will be able to continue to do what it is that you need me to do. But if you make me feel bad for needing that, now we have a problem. So to that gentleman, that's why I feel the way I feel. It's like, don't make me feel bad for doing what we should all be doing naturally, which is making sure that we are okay. Because when I'm okay, guess what? We'll be okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Pleasure?
I agree with miscommunication. I do believe that a person has to, we're not half-assing it, right? And we are stronger together only when I'm at my best and only when you're at your best. So in order for that to happen, we both must, invest in ourselves and make sure we're pouring into our individual selves, however that looks for us. And just in terms of the letter, I think there was some imperfections in their time management, and sister girl just might not have been taking care of her responsibilities. So sister girl, get better on that, okay? Because we can't have your man. Listen, make sure your man is leaving the house with empty sacks, okay? Because take care of him, take care of your kids, make sure you meal prepping to do whatever you got to do, make it easier for yourself. But still get that's a priority, but you want to make sure you're not taking away from your family or taking away from your loved ones by pouring into you. So get better at the time management. That's what I would, respond to him and say. They need to kind of work that out. And if he needs to shift some of his priorities to help her out so she feels like emptying his sack a little more, okay, before he leave the house, so he's not wanting. Because it seems like, that's always an issue. Sex is always an issue, guys. So, yeah, keep him happy there. He going to be fine everywhere else. Happy wife. Okay. Happy life, sir. I'm done.
It's supposed to be happy spouse, happy house.
I'm sorry. Happy spouse, happy house, sir.
That's wrong.
But sorry.
You need a moment, Royal.
My bad.
I just need a moment. Actually,
we need to get shirts made with that. Empty out them sacks. We need to put
empty out.
Maybe listen.
But yeah, we all knew what she meant. We all knew what she meant.
Work now. Y'all know what I do, so I'm just saying what I see. But anyway.
Okay. I was just going to pull from you, Pearl, actually, and just say and bring up a couple of things that you brought up in the very beginning, which is simply to this gentleman to be mindful of the individual that he chooses to partner up with.
Facts.
And get to know her so that way you can see where her priorities lie and what self-care looks like for her, in the sense of what is it that she is fulfilling or refilling in this situation. Because we've already discussed this evening, there are different elements to self-care. There are different compartments to self-care. So what is it that she is refilling, if you will? And then lastly, piggybacking off of pleasure, which is you got to find balance. You got to find balance, and that way self-care doesn't come off as being selfish. And oftentimes there are many ways in which you and your significant other can practice self-care together.
Absolutely.
And that way you're with one stone. So that's just my little input for this evening.
Well, I want to echo all of you. You all made excellent points about self-care. To the gentleman, there is a selfishness in self-care because it's about you. And you should not lose your family, your relationship, or any partnership because you are pouring into yourself. In fact, it does make the relationship and other parts of your family stronger, because not only are you setting an example, but you're recharging so you can be there for them. I think that gentleman has an issue of the quality of people that he's picking, and the lack of accountability, not the selfishness of self care. So, if he too invested in self care, he'd notice it has nothing to do with being selfish. So, that's that. Wait, okay, yeah, that's my thought. I say that to say we've gotten to an hour. And ladies, this is a part of my self care because it surely does unpack my brain when we come together. It's a wonderful experience with you guys. See how I did that experience. Um, that being the case, I'm a tap into my brother, Mr. Chocolate. If you have not subscribed or joined the Facebook page, you're just wrong. You're wrong. If you have not subscribed or joined the YouTube page, you twice as wrong. So go ahead, like, join, share with friends. Sharing is caring. Um, and we look forward to having you back here when we come back on for some mental self care moments with the ladies. So, again, thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for joining the experience, where the experience is always what, ladies?